Y'all, thank you for coming out. This is really the kind of enthusiasm we like to see in our wonderful state. Mark Clark, the great World War II general, once said that South Carolina has more patriotism per square inch than any place in the whole world. And that patriotism and loyalty reflects itself in the outcoming of support for those in our communities who need it. We want to group up is what he's saying.
Group
Come
up.
on over.
Okay, we can group
We're
up.
gonna group up.
Except I'm so short, it's hard for me to group up.
So we know that there are all sorts of obstructions to our progress, and one thing that would be easy to remove are those limitations and obstacles that are presented by mental health difficulties of all kinds and all varieties, and we know that a large part of our population suffers from these things. And so what we want to do is be sure everyone knows how important it is that we work together to see that those difficulties are addressed as early as possible, eliminated whenever possible, so that our people can reach their aspirations and goals in this wonderful state. And one thing I want to thank the legislature for, Senator Davis is here, and we know that others will be coming shortly, is the provision of funds to provide for mental health counselors to assist the schools. Some are in the schools, others are available in the schools, and we're hoping this year that the legislature will find a way to provide the funds where every school will have quick, immediate access to a mental health counselor on the double all across our state, so that no one will have to suffer with those difficulties presented by mental health difficulties. And we thank all of you, because when we stick together and work together like this, that's how things happen in our great state. So thank you very much for all of you being here.
Thank you. Well, let me just start by saying what a difference 17 years make. 17 years ago, I was Governor Sanford's chief of staff, and I remember working with the great John McGill at DMH trying to get some appropriate funds in the budget for mental health. We made some progress. But seeing this today and seeing the executive budget that Governor McMaster put forward and the emphasis that's placed on community involvement, school involvement, early detection, things of that nature, it truly is a sea change. I've said this in years past at rallies like this. There is a history of mental health in my family. One of my family members committed suicide. It's been something near and dear to my heart. And to see the stigma dissolve away, to see state resources being applied, to see the community awareness, rising, it just means the world. And I appreciate everybody showing up today, showing support, tearing away the stigmas, lifting these people up. It really, really is something that I greatly appreciate. So thank you very much.
Come on, Representative Gomez, come on.
Thank you very much. I just want to echo what the senator said in terms of the importance of this topic. As a retired educator, I can tell you that I was indeed very excited, along with Representative Gilliard and members of the House, to see the efforts being put in terms of mental health intervention services provided in our schools. We all know that that's very, very important. But this whole issue is something that affects all South Carolinians, and we are indeed ecstatic with the leadership that we have from the executive branch, our governor, in terms of his leadership as well. And this is something that we all can agree on. And so let's just move forward, South Carolina. The time is right, the need is great, and the reasons are compelling. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm so glad that you all are here today. My name is Patika Green, and I have schizophrenia, but schizophrenia does not have me. Recovery is possible. We can live beyond mental illnesses. We can participate in our communities. We can help our fellow brothers and sisters. We can be the support that so many have been support to us in the past. are people such as Dr. King, Mary McLeod Bethune, Harriet Tubman. They fought for us to have the support that we receive now, the services that we receive. Those of you that are living with mental illnesses or have loved ones that live with mental illnesses, please be the support to them. Allow them to receive the treatment, the health care that we greatly need, and efforts for us to combat mental illness. Our children, reach out to our children, listen to our children, give them the foundations that they need and efforts for them to move forward and be the people that we need them to be, and efforts for us to have a great future in our world. Those of you who are in mental health care, those of you who are helping to make things better for those of us that live with mental illnesses, please, every day, strive to excel and succeed. We need you. We need every bit of love, support, we need care, we need education, we need advocacy. We need people to understand that there's no such thing as a perfect person. We all go through in life. And when we can begin to understand that, we can get rid of the stigma and we can begin to support the people who need our help. I greatly want to thank you all again. Those of you that are around the world, those of you that are here, those of you that are not here, to continue to advocate for mental illnesses, mental health. Continue to be the support for the people around us, for the people that we work with, our neighbors, our families, our friends. Continue to be the help that we need. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. What a wonderful speaker. I'd be remiss if I didn't really congratulate Governor McMaster on his Safe Schools initiatives and all the initiatives that have happened to make our environment with mental health better in this state. So thank you for that. I'd now like to introduce one of our champions that's been here for a long time, Senator Thomas Alexander, that heads up the Subcommittee on Finance for Health and Human Services, and he's been just a big supporter of mental health for years.
Good morning. It's just a great pleasure to be here with you, Bill. Thank you for all that you do and the association, and I think it's very important for us each year to pause and have advocacy days because of the importance of the mental health opportunities of taking care of folks across the communities of South Carolina. Your presence here today is a great visual for us that the work that we're doing, the help that we're trying to provide, makes a difference in the lives to all the South Carolinians across the communities. And so just know of my continued support and efforts to make sure that we continue to address the needs in the mental health and certainly the school-based services and a lot of other things that we're doing by working together is how we get things achieved. And I look forward to working with y'all through this budget process and the opportunities of making the lives of our citizens the best that they can be. And I just wanted to come by today and express my appreciation to all of you that you would take time to come to Columbia and to be a part of this day. It makes a difference in the work that we're doing, that you care enough to stand here and be with us today. So God bless you, each and every one, and I look forward to us being successful in the work that we do, not only this year, but in the years to come, in the work that, because it will never be complete. There will always be things that we need to do to make the lives of our citizens better, and that is the commitment. I appreciate the support, the governor being here, and certainly my good friend Senator Davis. Again, it's a team effort for us all working for the betterment of South Carolina and the citizens of this state. Thank you very much.
Yeah, Mark wants to say something to the governor. Mark,
All right, I'll let you introduce yourself. How about that?
Come back up there. Yeah.
Hello,
Okay, you be right there.
I'm Mark Binkley. I'm the Interim State Director of the Department of Mental Health, and this is a great crowd. I want to, again, congratulate all of you for coming down here and showing your support for mental health and those with mental illness. And I'm just going to repeat a few things. And I want to particularly thank Governor McMaster for his support for school mental health. You know, in the mental health field, we talk about access, we talk about early identification, we talk about early intervention, and we talk about improving or diminishing stigma. All those things are important for people who have a mental illness to be identified early and get the treatment they need, because research shows, just like with any serious illness, the earlier it's identified, the earlier it's treated, the better the outcome. And Governor McMaster has taken the lead in supporting a program that hits all 4 of those points, and that's school mental health services. He has championed school mental health services ever since he became governor, and it has made a difference. We have expanded since the recession from under 400 schools to now we're in over 800 schools in South Carolina. And there's nothing like having mental health services available in your school for early identification, early intervention, reducing the stigma, and improving the access. It hits all those 4 important points, and I just want to thank Governor McMaster for all he's done for the Department of Mental Health and for the people of South Carolina.
We've got a couple of more representatives back here. If I could get these ladies up front. We have Representative Ann Thayer and Representative Beth Bernstein that have supported mental health for as long as probably they have been in office. So this is great to have them here.
Thank you so much. It's always so nice to see such a large crowd in support. I tell people all the time I can advocate all day long in the General Assembly, but it really takes something like this to really help move the ball down the field. And I think it's something worth noting, and I think other people have also noted, that Governor McMaster, this is not a partisan issue. This is an issue that affects all of us. I'm a Democrat. Standing to my right is a Republican. We have a Republican governor, and we're all working together towards this goal. And I've been fortunate to be able to work with Governor McMaster on so many issues that's important to this state. And I think that's really something that we need to recognize and acknowledge, because we haven't always had governors who have worked well with the legislature, and we're very fortunate that we have one today. And these issues are so important. This is my 8th year serving in the legislature. I represent an area right here in Columbia, and I have, I think, since I was elected, worked with Bill and worked with NAMI, and it's just so important. The sticker says it all. There should not be a stigma when we're talking about mental health, and I will continue to fight and make sure that we have those resources to help combat and address the issues that we deal with mental health. And I'll turn it over to Mrs. Thayer.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I know she said it well for both of us, so I won't belabor the point, but you know, it affects all of us, and we actually have it in our family. So really some firsthand knowledge. I had a cousin that lived with us because, quite honestly, her family sent her to live with us. They lived in a small town, and they didn't want to accept that. And so it was our family that reached out and got her the help and have continued to deal with her. And I have a very best friend who has a daughter with mental illness, and NAMI has saved their life. I mean, it really has, just the support group. And so anyway, we thank you. We want you to know that we are here for you. And as Representative Bernstein said, it's so great to have a governor that works with us on these issues and moving them forward. For once, we're all working together on the House side, the Senate side, and then the governor's side, and then the governor's mansion. So it's great. It's a great day in South Carolina. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Joy J with Mental Health America, and when you guys came in, y'all were handed a square. So I want everybody that is blue today to hold up their square. Hold it up pretty high. Okay, everybody that is orange today, hold up your square really, really high. In America, across the world, 1 in 5 people have a mental illness. So this goes to show that our blue people are not mentally ill, or maybe have a mental illness and have not been diagnosed, and our orange people, but it just shows how many of us everywhere, every day that we have
that we're neighbors, we're friends, like our person said before. We all love each other, we're together, and we just want to appreciate the fact that we can stand here and say that 1 in 5 have a mental illness and that we need to be helping everyone. Now we have got, let's see, Helen, yeah, you come up and introduce Dennis. Okay.
I'd like to introduce Dennis Gillen. My name, by the way, is Helen Pridgeon. I serve as South Carolina Area Director of the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. I'd like to introduce Dennis Gillen, who is our Public Policy Chair, who will say a few words on behalf of AFSP.
Well, thank you all. This is a great turnout. And I'm very hopeful because this week through the media I learned that they cured the second person with HIV. They cured the second person with HIV. And when I was growing up, that was a deadly disease. And when I was growing up, there was a stigma attached to that. Sound familiar, mental health? Mental health is not a deadly disease. Even though we're in the suicide prevention business, our numbers went down in South Carolina last year. They went down. We're making headway. And today, just look at this turnout. We're taking that stigma and we are kicking it to the curb. We're kicking it. Thank you very much. We are. Look at the people behind me. We got support from the governor down to private citizen Dennis Gillen. So thank you all for coming out today. I appreciate all that you do.
Thank you. Someone that was going to be here today that probably has not gotten out of his hearings is Senator Leatherman. And I would like to call up Shirley Imbo, who is going to kill me for doing this. Yes, but Senator Leatherman has just helped MHA, and Shirley Imbo has totally rallied the Florence community. And we have just finished a 16 unit apartment building for 16 folks with mental illness, and this whole community has been rallied. And I just can't say enough of what can happen when you have someone like Shirley, and then she had got Senator Leatherman on board, and it's just the most beautiful project, and we filled it up, and we can fill it up again. And so wherever you are in your Greenwood community and the Columbia community and the Greenville community, things can happen, and people can change a lot of people's lives. So thank you, Shirley.
Thank you.
And I'm sure Senator Leatherman, if he could have come down, would have said thank you too.
And we'd say a big thank you to Senator Leatherman.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you. Bill, who else? You want to speak to me?
And I have already. As the executive director of NAMI, South Carolina, I can't tell you how happy I am to have this crowd here. If you listen to me, I've got something important to tell you. Mental health and mental illnesses can be treated successfully. You people are all an example of what can happen with the right treatment, with the right drive, and the right will to get things done, both personally for you and here at the State House. So I am so happy to be here, to be with this crowd, to put these issues forward. There's some partners that we have been working with that have done great things for us, but like our legislature, but we've also been fortunate and been recipients of grants from the Blue Cross Blue Shield Foundation to get out into the schools and teach people about mental illness, from the Department of Education and the AWARE project to get out and teach people in schools about mental health and mental illness. So those partnerships make it a wonderful momentum for us going forward. And I just am so happy and thankful for you guys to be here. Who are we going to next?
Helen.
Helen, are we going to let you speak now?
Miss Helen.
Oh, for only about a minute. To personalize this event just a little bit, we talked about information, our hopes in moving forward, but let's remember those that we've lost, and let's remember those who are struggling today. On the count of 3, I want all of you to say the name of a person that you have loved and lost by suicide, or someone who is struggling today that you care about, or it may be yourself, loving yourself. So let's say collectively the names, not in a whisper. Let's say them out loud. 1, 2, 3. Clay and Papa. Let's do it one more time. 1, 2, 3. Clay. Please don't forget them as we move forward. There are people who are struggling today that need our help and our support. We've relaunched the State Suicide Prevention Coalition in December 2016. We have worked hard to establish a new state strategy for suicide prevention, 2018 to 2025. Our dream, our hope, our vision, our goal is to reduce suicide 20% by 2025. This is only going to happen if we remember. And we remember those we've lost, we remember those who are struggling. Now, my last ask is look at the person on your left and your right and say, good morning, I'm glad you're here today. Okay.
Some of y'all know that we have to do this. Some of y'all know that Helen has been the leader in this state for suicide for probably 15 or plus years. She has been our faithful leader and has brought us to places that we would never have thought to go. Helen has been promoted to the national office and will be in New York. And we are so very, very proud of her in South Carolina. We know she'll come back to us because we love her too much, but she will be helping do a national suicide, and we are just so very proud of her. Thank you, Helen, for everything.
Thank you. It's been an honor to serve, but when you leave today, you know what we said, I'm glad you're here. Take that. There's somebody that needs to hear that today. Let's keep, thank you.
I would be remiss if we didn't recognize some of the folks that were here, and I know that with the Health and Human Services Department that Josh Baker was here. He may still be here. Pete Liggett is here with that agency as well. And Greg Pierce, the head of the South Carolina Mental Health Commission, is here. And this event would not have been possible without the coalition that has come together over the past 3 years with the South Carolina Behavioral Health Coalition that has been brought together by the folks at the South Carolina Hospital Association as well as the folks that do the IMPH. So we want to thank those. And with that, we'll have one bit of closing comments.
As a peer support specialist, I want to thank the organizations that I work with and help to advocate for mental health, and that would be South Carolina Share.
Oh, it's back there.
The Department of Mental Health. NAMI, the National Alliance on Mental Illness. MUSC's Institute of Psychiatry. Thank you all so much for your support, your dedication, and I also want to thank someone who has greatly been a great support to all of us, and that would be Mr. Lloyd Hale.
Well, this is a beautiful experience to even be a part of. But I would just like to say that I can just really echo with everything that everyone said here, and that is, I am also a walking example. I was diagnosed with schizophrenia many moons ago, and here I am. I was introduced to this agency called South Carolina Share from the state hospital, where I was being housed and treated and whatnot. And now, 20 some odd years later, I am now sitting to be the director of this agency to train and inform and educate people throughout the state of South Carolina. I strongly encourage you to just keep fighting the fight. Sometimes it may seem like we're not moving forward, but we are moving forward as long as we keep fighting. So don't give up the fight, and I got your back. Thanks a lot.
Thank everybody for coming. I know if New Day is here, they want to get together with Bridges. There is going to be a, Elizabeth, where are you? Yes, an announcement in the Senate. So if anybody would like to go up to the gallery, Senator Tom Davis is making an announcement about mental health awareness day.
And he'll introduce everybody, and if you would stand up when you're recognized.
Yeah, then that would be great if you'd like to. And thank y'all so very much for coming. This means so much to the whole mental health community and for the governor to be here. So thank y'all and have a great day.
Thank you.